Oh boy, it's that time again. You're watching yet another episode of Engine Room on Token Metrics. My name is Dylan Love. I'm the managing editor of cryptocurrency research firm Token Metrics. I'm joined, as always, every Wednesday by Jacob Coach Gallup, our market analyst intern. Jad is our our quant guy. Forrest is our senior cryptocurrency investment analyst. And of course, we've got Bill Noble, our chief technical analyst. Guys, happy Wednesday. What's going on? What are we talking about today? I know I want to talk about NFTs because I saw a news item that a 12-year-old kid just made a little over 300 grand in Ethereum for
Yeah.
so here's what I'm taking away from this. If 12-year-olds can use NFTs to make 300 grand, why isn't everybody doing this?
Good question. I think a lot of people are trying. A lot of people are trying to launch their NFT projects. It's tough. It comes down to marketing. You got to get people to believe in it. It's got to be a good project. Actually, not necessarily. It doesn't have to be a good project for people to buy it, but people have to believe in it and they have to FOMO into it. I don't know what project this kid launched, but if it got some notoriety and it got the right people behind it, buying it, good for him. That's awesome.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this. How's it pronounced? Bull Levers. This is an NFT project about. It seems very related to CryptoPunks in my mind. Whereas instead of these pixelated images of punk rockers, you have much more detailed images of literally bulls that have been anthropomorphized. And these NFTs, these images of humanized bulls, are selling for nice money. But where do these projects come from? I mean, how can an almost unknown project, how can NFTs sold through this almost unknown project fetch such high sums? Are people who buy NFTs, are they already some kind of art collector?
Yeah, so actually I bought a couple Citizens of Believer Island yesterday. So yeah, I'm one of those people that have FOMO'd into this project, but it's a question of discovery and marketing. It's the same thing. If you're a regular artist, not an NFT artist, you're actually trying to sell your actual art. It's not a whole lot different. It's still very difficult. You have to find somebody to buy it. Now, if you launch one of these NFT lines like Citizens of Believer Island, you can list it on a few different websites. One of those is rarity.tools that keeps track of all the upcoming NFT launches. And a lot of investors are watching these upcoming NFT launches and then doing analysis on those projects. And if your NFTs have good utility, and in the case of Citizens of Believer Island, your NFTs, your pictures of the bulls, which vary in rarity, act as a ticket to play the video game that they are developing to go along with it. So there's going to be some type of video game where your NFT allows you to play the video game and you're a bull on an island. And I don't know much more about it than that. And I don't even know if they will successfully develop this video game. This is very similar to the ICO space in 2017, where everybody that had any level of development skill launched an ICO, said we have this great $1 billion idea. There's thousands of them that launched and about 20 that survived the next 4 years. So this is a big, potentially a cash grab. Everyone's FOMOing into these projects, and a lot of these NFT projects probably won't hold their value for very long.
Interesting. What I'm wondering, what goes through your decision making when you're considering buying an NFT project? Is it mainly utility or rarity? Or
you gotta like the picture. You gotta like the picture too, right?
Yeah, really? Do you have to like the picture to get it?
Me, no. I mean, for me, my biggest NFT allocations are in Zed Run horses. Those I paid quite a bit for, and I expect them to hold their value. And I think I walked through maybe on live stream on Monday why the reasons that I aped into Zed Run. The utility is insane. Potential for a massive airdrop. You get a monthly income through breeding fees. There's all these reasons. The project is backed by some of the best VCs in the space. They've partnered with NASCAR. They've partnered with Decentraland. They've got these amazing partnerships. On these smaller projects like Citizens of Believer Island, it's much cheaper, right? These NFTs are a couple $100 versus the tens of thousands that the Zed Run horses were. So for me, it takes a much lower threshold in terms of outlook and quality for me to, spend a couple $100 on a Citizens of Believer NFT. The main reasons is the utility looked pretty good. They were reminiscent of Bored Ape Yacht Club, and I know a couple people internally here at Token Metrics that were interested in them, flagged it as a good project, and owned some. So that's a big deal for me too, because there's a lot of smart people here at Token Metrics, and if they're buying Citizens of Believer, then it just makes sense. It's kind of like, perp. When people at Token Metrics, when Bill and some of our other analysts start pounding the table on perp, guys, it's probably smart to get into perp. Same thing with alpha. It's just sometimes if you're surrounded by smart people and they're very convicted about something, sometimes it just makes sense to not copy trade them necessarily, but take their opinions into account if you trust them and you think that they're very smart people.
Yeah, let's call it taking a page from their playbook.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting reminder that NFTs are not just about the pretty pictures, but that the best and probably the highest value NFTs also serve some unique utility, whether it's you get access to some game or it unlocks some special feature in a subscription service or something like this. That's pretty easy to forget. I think when Beeple blew up, however long ago that was that a year ago at this point? I forget. But when he sold his NFT for many, many millions of dollars, that was just a picture. If I have this correct, there was no technical reason that it should have been valued. That was just raw art speculation, something like this.
Right.
So it's easy for that to kind of dominate the conversation, and we can forget that NFTs actually can and do serve some legit technical purpose.
Yeah, many NFTs are tickets now. They're just, think of it as like buying a season ticket to a sports game, except for instead it's a video game and it's a lifetime ticket.
So, Forrest, I've got a question for you, or anybody else who might have something to say to this. But what if I'm a classic old school artist? I love painting at an easel. How do I throw my hat into the NFT world?
That's a good question.
I can answer that.
Yeah. What's up, Bill?
Okay. So, all right. So the environment that we're in, it's much like we're back to the 70s in terms of inflation and commodity prices. And we've also returned to the 70s in that Studio 54 and disco have been reinvented in NFTs. Disco was a way to go to the club and just flex what you had and what you wore and what you could do on the dance floor. And now NFTs are your way to flex your cryptocurrency prowess. Okay. Many of these things are allowing you into like private Discord rooms. So like high-end influencers had a FOMO into ETH rocks because they made a Discord chat room, much like our professional plan. That's a who's who of crypto. And if you weren't in there, well, what was wrong with you? Just like, oh, you're not going to this club. What's wrong with you? So it's a societal flex, right? It's the Air Jordan of the digital world. Okay. Now, if you're a starving artist, okay, kind of my funny, sad NFT story is that I changed my avatar or my profile pic on Twitter to a cartoon in like late 2019 when people thought I was out of my mind, when a starving artist created Notorious Bill. So the starving artist is blowing up my phone over like the last 2 days. Her name's Kathy Hutchins at Kathy Crypto, right? Because she's now figured out that the way to get her career going is to somehow attach it to utility, which is, like Forrest said, to bring it full circle, a ticket to something, a Discord room, information, conversation. These are the new Dallas Cowboy 50-yard line seats.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. It's exciting to see this stuff kind of come into maturity. It's never really been in the spotlight as severely as it has been lately. So we're going to be talking about NFTs for a long, long time to come, I'm sure.
Right. We are. And we're also probably, Mike Novogratz came out this morning. So he's the head of Galaxy Digital, ex-Goldman guy, really the first institutional guy in the crypto space. Like he's going I'm going to form a hedge fund and buy Bitcoin. And people are like, you're crazy. He came out this morning and said, be careful. 2017 was a reaction where supply came into the market as a result of massively higher prices. So Forrest is, as usual, dead right on NFTs to be buying stuff that's a couple $100 for the second layer of the trade, because people who are FOMOing into stuff for the millions may get left holding a bag, and the starving artists may make a comeback. So Mike was like, hey, don't be afraid to book some P on the way up here. Remember 2017, even though this is a theme, and artists who can connect with analysts are probably going to wind up the big winners long term.
Yeah.
That and of course, Forrest with the Kentucky. Forrest's going to win the Kentucky Derby. He's going to win the digital Kentucky Derby and party at his house.
Forrest, what can you tell us about the actual experience of using Zed Run? Is there is there a visual element to like seeing racehorses move across the screen? What is it like to actually play the game?
Yeah, am I actually able to share my screen?
Yeah,
here on
100%, man.
Zoom. It might take me a moment to pull it up, but they keep a live stream going just about all the time, and I'm pulling it up right now, and I'm gonna share this screen here, and you may hear this volume. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is on Twitch. There's about 200 people watching right now. Oh, and now it's gonna load here. But yeah, this is okay. We're loading up into another race. And if you guys want, we can watch a race or the beginning of this race. It starts in 17 seconds, but it's
I'm
just
cheering for Bye Felicia.
Yeah. There's these, I'm trying to think of the word to describe it, that the style of these horses, like low poly horses, and it's on this like futuristic track, and we're off. This is a 1,200 meter race, so it is going to be a rather quick one. I think it might only take a minute, so we can go ahead and watch the entire one. But yeah, and you see the scoreboard over here on the left. We've got out of the frying pan,
out
of the frying pan. All right, who are we rooting for?
Well, it was Bye Felicia, but she ain't doing so hot.
Well, she could make a comeback. It's a tight one. It's a tight race. This is a class 2 race, so these are the second fastest class of horses. So these horses are pretty fast
crypto,
here.
I like smack that.
All right, guys, we're halfway there.
These horses are reminding me of like Tron. That's kind of the theme they're going for.
Yeah, like the Tron cars. I got you.
The light beams. So Forrest, what do they get if their horse wins?
Money, cold hard cash.
in Ethereum or?
Yes, in the form of Ethereum. This all runs on the Matic network too, so there's no gas fees. All right, we're down to the last 100 meters. It looks like Smack That.
Oh my God,
trying to make a
get
break
out
for
of
it.
here.
No, time check.
Wow.
Coming from behind.
Yeah.
Super interesting. That is not
Yep.
that is not what I expected. And in a good way.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
guys-
Jad is going to be doing like, how in Vegas they have betting odds on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, eventually this is all going to go quant. Right.
Yeah. What's the
right? In other
what's the
words,
quantitative analysis?
they'll get the data on the horses, and the quant funds will be, doing like facial recognition on the NFTs, and then you'll have like, seriously, 2022, you will have NFT hedge funds.
Interesting. Well,
right.
We'll
I'm telling the guys, one of the guys on our team, like I run the market analyst team at Token Metrics. And, there's me, and then there's like young people. Right now, I get a lot out of my young people, but I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh my God, I'm the lottery winner. I don't need Wall Street stuffed shirts. I got college kids who are going to take one look at this and know instantly what's cool and what's not. I'm like, I got the best research. I mean, I knew I had the best research staff around anyway, but now I'm like, oh my God, I've got the proprietary edge in that I got two guys in fraternities looking at cool comic book art. I mean, back in 1991, I could definitely tell you which Batman comics to buy and which to not. Right. And that's where we are, folks. I mean, these things don't have charts. This is just like, do you have an eye for cool factor? Right. So like, first it'll start with like, eyeballing it. It'll get mathematical eventually. But I think the key is between now and it not getting mathematical is not to spend money on something that you can't afford. I think that's the most important part of the trading game here, right? Like if you buy a comic book, it may go up in value, but your expectation is that you probably won't be able to find another person to buy your comic book. Right. So, for our audience, I mean, we're winning the Zed Run Kentucky Derby at Token Metrics, people, make no mistake. But, don't FOMO into something before you study it, because like ICOs, folks, there's going to be no shortage of penguins with cute noses with, changing backgrounds. I mean, the supply of that will be unlimited.
Gotcha. So it's about finding stuff that's unique and serves a purpose. In the case of Zed Run, it's raw entertainment. It's a game.
Entertainment driven by money and betting. It's just like it's so similar to real horse racing that it's scary how accurate they've been able to make the systems of like breeding and betting on the horses or like entry fees and stuff like it's phenomenal.
Interesting. Well, cool. Let's throw it over to Jacob. I know Jacob brought some news for us to hash out here. What you got, Jacob?
Yeah, so while we're still on the topic of NFTs, I mean, I think one kind of key feature that we have that hasn't been brought up yet is kind of memeability. I know we touched on this on Monday's podcast, but I think one big thing we saw in early NFT days was just memes. They were selling for millions of dollars. They're still selling for millions of dollars of memes. And like Bill said, is that anyone can make these memes. You don't need to be the best artist in the world. You don't need to be Picasso to draw a digital penguin. And there's already 5 different penguin collections with different party hats and stuff. And that's just a uncapped supply. And that's just going to kind of dilute the market. So right now, these party penguins and all these other cool collections seem like they're just going to skyrocket. But as there's more and more collections, like I cannot draw for my life, but if I spent 10 hours, I could probably figure out how to go in Adobe and create a really cool collection and sell that for millions of dollars. So that's something to look out for. So memeability was kind of the driver, but as we also discussed earlier, has started slowly but slowly switch to utility of memes or of utility of NFTs. So like Zed Run, where it gives you a ticket. There are also I actually last week when I was doing some NFT research, I had mentioned kind of the utility of NFTs. And that one example was I saw on a NFT research platform, beer.eth had sold for $80,000. And just yesterday, there was a news article about how Budweiser bought beer.eth on the Ethereum domain name server. So I had just flagged this. And then, of course, it turns out that Budweiser had bought it. They also bought a kind of rocket and put that as their Twitter profile picture. So we're seeing these big companies kind of.
Can you imagine what this
FOMOing
looks like?
in?
What this looks like at Christmas? In other words, what is Santa gonna bring everyone for Christmas? Everyone's gonna be walking around with their phone going, I got this NFT, I got that one. Daddy, can you get me an NFT for Christmas? Honey, and then he goes to his wife, honey, what's an NFT? I don't know. How do you buy an NFT? We got to get ETH. What's ETH? Oh, okay. Let's just go to Coinbase and ape into ETH. Like every parent in the United States is going to have to ape into Ethereum, or there's no Santa, right? That's why I'm saying this like lower end cutesy stuff you know, like it was Webkins, these little stuffed toys for my kid that you can then go online and play a game. It's the reverse. You know, now it's to go online and, you know, do whatever. And then there's prizes online, or who knows, you might be able to go to a big box retailer after you've gotten an NFT and get a stuffed toy at Walmart. I mean, Target stock broke down yesterday. So how are Santa's elves going to deliver Christmas without NFTs under the range of $200? And then from there, a collectibles market launches. So like, you know, the early adopters, like, you know, there's the three I's, right? There's the innovator, the imitator, and the idiot, right? The innovator makes money. The imitator makes money. I'm pretty sure with Zed Run, like Forrest and Ian are probably in like the innovator crowd, right? The imitators are out there, and then the idiots will probably hit there on Black Friday. The smart money will pay $200 for an NFT. The not so smart money might pay $2 million, the way they paid $20,000 for Bitcoin right before it went to $3,000. But the Santa theme is epic, and I don't know if anyone's even talking about that yet.
Well, it's clear that momentum is rising here. I mean, Visa spent 150 grand on a CryptoPunk. And if Visa had 150K in Ether, then that means they have $1 million in Ether.
Or $1 billion.
Yeah. I forget what the total balance sheet is for Visa, but it's many, many billions of dollars. So this is a drop in the bucket for them, and it's a total PR win. So, and then the fact that Budweiser bought beer.eth only seems to further cement this point. Forget about the big banks and large financial institutions. We need Walmart and Amazon to start getting involved now.
Walmart has to get involved.
Yeah.
They are. They just hired crypto people. They're hiring. It takes some time to onboard them, build out a team, but they have job descriptions up where they are hiring crypto payment experts.
Yeah, well, it's pretty exciting to have a job where we get to like watch this water level rise and then surf around on these waves. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I love about crypto right now, is because we're in such an early stage. I mean, it's literally 12 years old. We're with a preteen space. So we're watching just as it's all unfolding right in front of our eyes, like where people can be pioneers, because it's just a completely new space. And that's what I find so fascinating about it, is the stock market's 200, 300 years old. That's boomer stuff. Now we're like completely in a new age where we're watching the world change right in front of our eyes. And we're providing that news, that research to you at your front door, at your computer every single day through Token Metrics, through tokenmetrics.com. So stay with us. But yeah, it's such a fascinating space, and I love watching the developments occur.
Yeah, this seems like a good time to quickly mention, guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Token Metrics on YouTube. You can also listen to this podcast in audio format in any of your preferred podcasting platforms. But with that, Jacob, what else you got for news for us?
Yeah, so I kind of want to touch on this. So we saw Bitcoin hit $50,000 this past Sunday, and everyone was expecting that to just skyrocket after that. I was also, it's dipped down a little, it's trading a little sideways, but I think kind of Michael Saylor's current release on, or MicroStrategy, their current form filings, kind of stating that they now hold almost 110,000 of Bitcoins, which is around $177 million. And they just recently bought they just recently bought 177 million to make their now holdings $5.3 billion to where their each Bitcoin, they've spent about 26.7 thousand. They've recently bought it at 45,000. So if Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy are buying at $45,000 and people are expecting this to go down to $20,000, that just doesn't make sense. If they're buying at 45,000, how is it going to dip down below 45? How is it going to dip down below 40?
right?
Mhm.
Because
We have-
he's still down there.
He's
I mean,
still
he's
still
down
buying.
there. You know, he has like, oh, you know, because he does these announcements all the time, right? And if he's not down there, you know, Michael Saylor just doesn't, you know, they don't just vacuum this out of the market. They have to go to a market maker who gives Mike the Bitcoin and is like, okay, I hope we can buy it back.
Yeah.
See these like lurching declines. Like, see, it was at 1 minute it was at 50, and the next minute it just drops. Okay, that's whoever sold it to Saylor, trying to pound the market down to trigger retail to panic sell so they can vacuum it all out. Like, that's constantly what goes on in Bitcoin now. Like, Saylor just continues to ape in, right? Bitcoin's the future of money, or part of it. ETH is the currency of culture. These huge players have to buy it. And what's going to happen when the supply eventually gets to the point where everyone goes, there's no supply, everyone has to own it. And by everyone, this goes from Visa to Santa's elves. And then what kind of price action do you get?
Mhm.
Right? I mean, yeah, okay, everyone's bored to tears right now, but I mean, go back in your life and remember what happened when everyone had to have something. Every generation had it. I remember the first time I saw this, it was waiting 3 hours in summer heat to get into Star Wars. Then
Mhm.
it was Air Jordans. I mean, what people will do when they have to have something. And then if it's people and corporations, so everyone's like, oh, I missed it. I'm too late. Oh my God. I had conversations with Jad, our portfolio guy, as our systems spit out coin after coin after coin that has a new theme that just moons, right? So again, what happens if everyone has to have it all at once? And at a moment in history where the need to flex, the need to feel good has never been higher. Crypto is the feel good cure for the COVID blues, right?
Mhm.
And it is going to get more powerful into Christmas.
For my generation, it was Beanie Babies. Everybody had to have Beanie Babies.
Right on.
Yeah, it's funny when you say that, because I was just imagining like when the first iPhone came out and just those, and then proceeding to iPhone 2, iPhone 3, iPhone 4, iPhone 5, just people queuing, waiting in lines
Tense.
for hours, tense outside a week just to get the new iPhone. So imagine you put that, but with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, but you no longer have to wait for days outside. You can just go to your computer, go to your iPhone, go to your Bitcoin ATM and just buy it instantly. And when everyone has to own cryptocurrency, either because it's a trend, it's trendy, or because it's required, and that's the only way you can get in to these certain grocery stores, that's what you pay with, then what are we going to see if Michael Saylor's buying at 45, and it now is the trend that not just people in crypto space or just in the finance space, but people who have no idea what crypto is are buying it. I mean, we're going to the damn moon.
Am I doing the math correctly that Michael Saylor owns more than 5% of the total Bitcoin supply at this point? If the hard cap is 21 million, he's above 5% at this point. No,
He holds he holds 109,000 Bitcoin.
that's Jad. What's that percentage, math wizard?
100.
109,000 divided by 21 million.
It was about
Quick
a half
math.
a percent.
Half a
One
percent.
half of 1%. Okay.
0.5%.
Right. And
That's
think
still
about
huge, though.
what the guy has. Yeah, it is. But he's had to like issue corporate debt, and he just continues to ape in and ape in and ape in. And again, what happens if like 10, 12 corporations? I mean, at this point, with Visa, with a cyberpunk on their balance sheet, if you don't have Bitcoin, you're a boomer.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's why I think Apple's got to just hurry up. Everyone's just got to hurry up and say, okay, Let's just get the Bitcoin thing done so we can do the ETH thing so we can get cool. Just get Bitcoin done. Versus it used to be like, well, I don't know. This is too volatile. Whatever. Okay, no.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of kind of people and big corporations who are just like, I don't want to do crypto. Like it's like you're saying, it's volatile, or it's just for these drug dealers, whatever, like that. We shouldn't do it. Like I see a similar analogy like with TikTok. I still haven't downloaded TikTok, but I'm like, I don't want to download TikTok because it's Chinese owned, or it's just for teenagers. It's killing my brain cells. But I'm sure if I downloaded it, I'd be like, wow, I learned all this stuff. It's super entertaining. Like I should have just done it. So I see a similar parallel to crypto where people are just like making all these excuses not to do it. But in 5 years, they're all going to end up buying it for buying Bitcoin for $200,000 when they're like, I don't want to buy it at $48,000.
Yeah.
Yes, like psychologically, it's not easy when you see Bitcoin at 10K, then goes to 40K, and then you're like, I'm not gonna buy when it did a 4X. Psychologically, it's hard. And like we saw some examples recently on Token Metrics, when Solana was picked when it was like $30, and then went up to around $50, and then was picked again at $50. And at that point, psychologically, it was hard for investors or traders to say, okay, even though it went up from 30 to 50, I'm going to buy at 50. And then it still ended up going to 70 or 75. So there's a big psychological factor and buying coins that already mooned, although they can still keep going up a lot,
Right. Like our AI is getting so good at reading charts, right? Like our AI knows like when it's a bird on a wire getting ready to fly, or it's bigger the base, the higher in the space, or it's a momentum trade or a beta trade, if you know finance math. But like when it's just a good old fashioned freight train like Solana, our AI is picking that up. And here's the funny thing, since Engine Room is inside Token Metrics. So if you watch a video on how machines learn, you teach the machine, and then the machine does things that are so complex. If you try to figure out what the machine's brain looks like after it's been learning for a while, you can't do a brain scan on it. You can't understand it. So now that our AI is getting so smart, the humans are getting together, and I can see what the machine does. Hey, this machine, it's reading Elliott wave. Oh, look, now it's doing this. Now it's doing that, right? It found all these things, and it knew when to FOMO. Like I know everyone wants to FOMO every day, but when to FOMO and when not to FOMO.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember for a while, I guess in July, our indicators were showing bearish, and that was when everyone like was kind of shitting the bed and calling for a bear market. And I remember like one day waking up and seeing in our private telegram group, people posting screenshots of they're like indicators now bullish. And that was the start of the run back up Bitcoin from 28,000 to now 50,000. That was the start, and our AI flagged it like the day. So if you had gotten in right when that indicator showed up, you would have almost
Powerful
80%.
Powerful AI is a certain kind of black magic that is scientifically backed, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, the
Totally.
biggest advantage of it is that it takes away all type of emotion in your trading or your investing. Like it does all the analysis without the biases of your human brain that are due to your emotions and stuff. Now, obviously, it has its own biases in some ways, but still, it ideally and theoretically it outperforms human traders because there's no emotional aspect at all. And the best traders usually are the traders that don't let emotion affect their trading strategy.
Yeah, you have to be
or their horse breeding. You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind telling you guys that I'm really especially interested in mindset topics lately, especially as they pertain to trading, because you have to be, the nature of this, whether we're talking about the conventional stock market or the volatile crypto market, you're going to lose money. It's going to happen. And you have to be okay with that in advance. And I can't help but think of Warren Buffett's famous rules of investing. The first rule of investing, never to lose money. The second rule, don't forget the first rule. Yeah, so way on board with any tools that can help you make non-emotional decisions when it comes to where to stuff your money for later.
Yeah, The
Yeah, I
Hour
think-
Between Dog and Wolf by John Coates was a book recommended to me about trading and risk-taking mindset.
Wow.
The Hour Between Dog and Wolf. Okay. This was, Forrest was talking earlier about a colleague who knew what's up on certain DeFi coins, and this was the book he read.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Right.
You're sure to check that out.
I feel like you kind of, this might be a hot take, but you kind of need to be a sociopath to be a good trader, because you just like, I mean, I try to take emotions out of my investing as much as possible, but when I'm down 50% over the past week, I'm going to be pissed, and I'm not going to like FOMO in and then be tilted and sell everything, but because I know that it's just a matter of time. But like to just be stone cold, it's hard. I think most humans like that's just part of our biology, part of our nature, to experience these notions. Because I mean, it's similar to kind of fight or flight, or when we were running away from dinosaurs, it's the same chemicals in our brain activating when we're seeing our Robinhood down 50%. I don't use Robinhood, but that was just my example. But yeah, and that's one great thing about our AI, like Jad was saying, is there's no fight or flight aspect of the AI. It's
Yeah, I mean, with the
purely
AI,
technical.
we can learn from what the machines are teaching us. Like, that's what we're doing. We teach the machines, and then the machines are teaching us how to do better analysis. And Wall Street history is marked with analysts that can be, I don't know, interesting, entertaining, etc. But the traders are all kind of like icemen. So if you see some guy at a holiday party who's just like keeping to himself or watching his phone and is not the life of the party, that may be the guy who bought the first ETH rock, right? Because those dudes, they have a particular mindset. And ironically, in terms of how they use analysis, like sometimes my analysis is best utilized by traders when I'm wrong. If I say this is going up and here's why, okay, and I'd have a great case, if the market would turn around and go down, the smartest traders that I ever worked with would go, oh no, Bill's work broke, and that's got to mean something's going to happen and it's going to go the opposite direction. So if it was supposed to go up, I said it was going to go up and it didn't, traders would know, unfortunately for me, that sometimes my work was the most powerful when it was dead ass wrong. And these guys with these like ice in their veins, they can make those decisions. And now Token Metrics is bringing AI to that process to help not just the analysts, but the traders, right? And the newcomers, the apprentices. So if you're out there and you're listening, help us help you. When you smash that subscribe button and you like this video on our way out, you help us help you.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, it's about time to wrap this thing up, but I think we should probably, given the previous, let's re-invoke Michael Saylor here. He's not a crypto trader. He's in Bitcoin as a technology play, as how he describes it. But he has put everything on the line for it, taken the company into debt, reissued shares of stock so that they can then take the income from that and put it back into Bitcoin. So maybe it's a little reductive, but I think you'll know what I mean when I say, let's be like Mike. Let's take emotion out of the equation and let's follow this inevitable train wherever it's going, because you can't stop this train. That's kind of that's the whole point, is that it can't be stopped. So yeah, Michael Saylor, we salute you, even though you're not a trader. But boy, are you? I can't help but be fascinated by him. Anyway, not the most satisfying conclusion to this episode of Engine Room, but
No, totally good, man. Totally good. You got to, this industry is going to have heroes. 5 years from now, they'll be the heroes, the pioneers, the guys. Novogratz got it started. Novogratz started the revolution, and Saylor started the movement. The second person who does it is the one who starts the movement.
There it is. Yeah. Thank you, Bill. Anyway, as we've said before, you've been listening to or watching Engine Room by Token Metrics. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. Token Metrics is the name of the channel, or you can find us in your favorite podcast app. Engine Room is the name of the podcast. We'll be with you 3 days a week. Thank you for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.